for in this beat. Yes, it go way beyond burgers. Hope will go way beyond searching. Erudition take you beyond learning. Education keep your heart yearning. It's so born.
How so? Limited interaction in commerce.
Islam.
Islam?
I would say it wouldn't be limited, honestly, because you wouldn't be, well, commerce is different than trade. So that's the language there. You do have limited motion in commerce because commerce is moving under a corporation versus if you're doing things in trade as a national, you aren't limited. That was my thought, Islam.
Islam. Yep, Islam.
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 I just have on that point about anything detrimental. I'm just thinking about going back in history in regards to when we was one nation as a Moorish nation, okay? But then we had the outsiders coming in. Now, in this case, that kind of broke that up. So my question is then now in regards to detrimental, you know, if we have a strong foundation, and as the sister just mentioned, there will be a lot of jealousy, and also they want what is ours, which has been done in the past. And that's the only detrimental thing that I can see has happened, that you will have other Moors, other peoples, as you would say, coming and trying to take that over.
That's right. Islam. That's a great point. Islam.
Empress Latanya. The detriment I would say is it's good to stand on your swear alone, but it also can be a detriment because our remedy is our unity. So when we are standing together, it's better than to stand alone. And that's how that's what we're working on now. And I yield to stand together.
Islam. And going back to the strength in numbers. Islam. All right. So we got a few answers on that. Now, are there any benefits to being stateless?
Islam.
I'm gonna say it like this. Not that I can think of, or not that I know of.
Okay.
I yield.
When you say stateless person, I think of death.
Islam. 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 Okay, so far, I think we all can say is not ideal to be in a position of being stateless. But some people think it is, and some people push that. So let's look at this video and see if there are any benefits to being stateless, and really pay attention to keywords. I want you to tear this apart. And this is not from me. This is from what the United Nations says.
There are two important instruments of international law regarding statelessness that you need to know about. They were established in international law after the Second World War. The 1954 Convention relating to the status of stateless persons defines who a stateless person is and the set of minimum rights they are granted. A stateless person is defined as someone who is not considered a national by any state under the operation of its law. So what are the fundamental rights in this convention? Stateless people should have the same freedom to practice religion and the same access to the courts as the nationals of the country in which they live. Discrimination is not allowed. Secondly, stateless people should have access to the same social and economic rights as anyone who is staying in the country legally. Amongst others, this includes the right to access primary and secondary education, the right to work, and the right to acquire property. States are also urged to take measures to ensure that stateless people can acquire a nationality. The aim of the 1961 Convention on the Reduction of Statelessness is to ensure that countries take measures to reduce and prevent statelessness. One such measure is to ensure that all children who would otherwise be stateless acquire a nationality, and that people do not lose their nationality later in life and become stateless. The right to nationality and the rights of stateless persons are protected by a number of international agreements, but still, many of the millions of stateless persons in the world see their fundamental rights denied. It is important to know that not all stateless people are refugees. Stateless people can become refugees if they flee their country because of conflict and persecution, but this is not always the case. In fact, most stateless people live in the country they have always lived in. They just don't have the nationality of that country or any other country.
So what did you guys notice about? Well, I ain't gonna spoil. What did you see in that
Islam, Noble.
Islam?
What I see now, right, in regards to this is what we call, what I call on secutor. On secutor meaning, right, that to create chaos. Anyway, so when you have the international organizations now coming together under one, like United Nations, what they've done and committed is to say, we will help you, but they are the cause of the problems in the first place.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. And then they change everything around, and they said, oh, we have a benefit for you. Same way they do it now with the COVID. They caused the COVID situation. Oh, yes, we can give you remedy. On secutor. I yield.
Exactly. No rights at all, smoke and mirrors. So, that's a perfect point. They create the condition and then come with the so-called solution. And I hope you all caught that one of the key words that they kept mentioning was should. Stateless persons should have the right to a land, or the right to marriage, or the right to employment, the right to try all these different things. They should. That's the key word, because should is conditional. And if they create the condition, and then they're offering you benefits, okay, that still does not correct your status. Okay, and we're not talking about UCC status correction, stuff like that. We're talking about your standing in law. And they did mention that when you're stateless, it doesn't mean that you have to be in a refugee in another person's or another nation's land. You could be home. Okay. So the question, are there any benefits to being stateless? I think we all can agree that is none.